So if we want to actually, let's find a way to, we're not just going to get rid of 50% of our customers. No business is going to do that, right? Very few, you know, it just doesn't make sense. So what can we do? So this is the next piece of analysis that ITW developed. It's called the quad analysis. It's a lovely analysis, little analysis. It provides a great view of the business from an 80-20 perspective. So what we're going to do is we're going to break customers and products up into 80s and 20s. The first quartile, quad 1, is 80 SKUs. This is all done based on revenue, folks. So 80 SKUs that represent 80% of your revenue. So my SKUs that represent 80% of revenue. That's not 80% of your SKUs. That's 80% of your revenue. And then my 80s customers that represent 80% of my revenue. So that's quad 1. So 80 by 80, 64% of your revenues in quad 1, right? Okay, let's go to quad 2. That's 20 SKUs and 80s customers. That's 16% of your revenue. Then let's go to quad 3. That's 80 SKUs and 20s customers. You can see how I've jumped down to quad 3 now. Is everybody with me? Okay, so that's 16% of revenue. And then I've got quad 4. That's 20s customers buying 20s products. That's 4% of revenue. Okay? All right. So now let's just have a look at a business. I'm going to share with you the kind of results. I've modified them somewhat slightly, but this is what we see across vast majority of our clients. First of all, let's look at quad 1. Let's do a count on customers and SKUs. So 138 customers account for 80% of this business's revenue, and 1,150 SKUs account for 80% of their revenue, of their product revenue. So that's 138 and 1,150 in quad 1. Let's go to quad 2. So quad 2 is 20 SKUs. Look at the jump in SKU count. It's gone up by 750%. Okay, so we're seeing the Pareto principle starting to surface. Let's go to quad 3. And in quad 3, we see the number of customers grows by 690%. It goes from 138 customers to 916. So our number of customers has grown by 690%. And then let's go from quad 3 to quad 4. And the number of SKUs has grown from 780 to 6183 by 800%. So we see complexity growing dramatically as we move from quad 1, right, to quad 2, to quad 3, to quad 4. Tons of complexity, way more SKUs, way more customers. Are we getting rewarded for that complexity? Are we getting price? Are we getting margin? Not just price, because cost to serve, right? The waterfall. Okay, so first of all, let's just talk about how to strategically, so this is what kind of ITW's keen insight was, we're going to treat these quads differently. We're going to go deep and we're going to treat them differently. So quad 1, they called it the fort. We're going to protect it and we're going to deploy 2 core strategies. We're going to overserve 80s customers. Overserve, overdeliver growth with those accounts. That's where we're going to grow. And then we're going to have key account management that's going to help us do it. We're going to get so close to these customers that we're able to anticipate and grow. Quad 2, they titled Necessary Evil. We've got all this complexity in these 20s products. We wish we didn't have to carry them all because of all the complexity, but we do. So they're a necessary evil. But what's our strategy? We'd love to try and move customers from quad 2 to quad 1 in terms of the products they buy. A lot of quad 2 products are slight derivatives of quad 1. Right? It's all that variation that comes up. So we want to try and motivate customers to buy in quad 1. How do we do that? First of all, start with the sales force. Let's motivate them to stop driving complexity into the business. Let's compensate them more for actually selling products in quad 1. Okay? And from a pricing perspective, we're going to try and elevate our pricing in quad 2. So to motivate customers in quad 1. And in some cases, the ITW strategy, we're going to reduce complexity so much our costs will go down, we can reduce prices in quad 1. Okay, that's kind of not a thing you should be saying with a bunch of pricers at a pricing conference, right? But that's truly the strategy, okay? Quad 3 is transactional. We got 20s customers buying 80s products. They're really inefficient to serve these customers. We should not be taking all their phone orders, serving them directly, push them out to distribution, or get onto inside sales. We don't want external account management meeting with them. It's inefficient. The other thing is our terms, minimum order quantity, lead time, et cetera. We need to be really, really strict in terms of enforcement, and we need good policy for our waterfall. Okay, so that's back to pricing. Quad 4, this quad is non-strategic. Significantly raise prices. The strategy there was eliminate and isolate. This is where we're going to get rid of complexity. It's 4% of our revenue, and it's costing us 25% or whatever it's costing in terms of running that quad. We're going to reduce and eliminate there. So those were the strategies deployed. Significantly raising prices in quad 4. We've done this. We've worked with many clients who are deploying this 80-20 methodology. The key finding in quad 4, we've seen prices raise as much as 20, 30, 40, 50%. A vast majority of the customers don't leave because it's such a small item that accounts for so little of their purchases that they barely notice it. So even when we're trying to eliminate and isolate, this quad doesn't tend to go away a lot of the time because this is so unimportant to the customer. Fascinating, right? So all of a sudden you're finding pricing power you didn't even know you had.